The Stoic art of patience in a world that wants everything now. We live in a world built around speed. Food arrives in minutes. Messages cross the planet instantly. Entire seasons of television are released at once. We can order almost anything with a tap and begin to feel irritated when it takes longer than expected. Technology has made life more efficient, but it has also quietly trained us to believe that waiting is a problem. We want answers now. Success now. Healing now. Recognition now. And when life refuses to move at our preferred speed, we become frustrated. We compare ourselves to people who seem to be advancing faster. We assume that delay means failure. We mistake slow progress for no progress. The Stoics saw things differently. To them, patience was not passive. It was not laziness, weakness, or the willingness to tolerate a miserable life. Patience was a form of strength. It was the ability to remain steady when events unfolded more slowly than expected. It was the discipline to work without immediate reward, to endure discomfort without surrendering judgment, and to accept that some things cannot be rushed. The Stoic art of patience begins with a simple realization. Life does not happen according to our schedule. We control our choices, our effort, our attitude, and our response. We do not control the speed at which opportunities arrive. We do not control when another person changes, when a difficult season ends, or when our work finally produces visible results. Most impatience is a conflict between reality and the timeline we invented. We decide that we should be successful by a certain age. We decide that a relationship should have progressed by now. We decide that grief should be over, that a business should be profitable, that our body should be stronger, or that our life should already make sense. Then reality fails to meet the deadline, and we suffer twice, first from the difficulty itself, and second from the belief that it should not be taking so long. Stoicism asks us to release the imaginary deadline. This does not mean abandoning ambition. It means replacing desperate urgency with disciplined consistency. You can pursue a goal intensely without demanding that the outcome appear immediately. You can care deeply about your future without treating the present as an obstacle. A tree does not become strong because it grows quickly. Strength comes from seasons of wind, drought, cold, and slow expansion beneath the surface. Much of the growth that matters most is invisible while it is happening. The same is true for human beings. You may be building discipline every time you show up when no one notices. You may be developing courage every time you act despite uncertainty. You may be gaining wisdom through a season that seems unproductive. The external result may not yet be visible, but the internal foundation is being formed. The impatient person asks, "When will I get what I want?" The patient person asks, "Who am I becoming while I wait?" That question changes everything. Waiting is not empty time. It is a training ground. A delayed opportunity tests whether your values depend on applause. A difficult relationship tests your ability to communicate without losing control. A long recovery tests whether you can respect the body's pace instead of punishing it for being human. The Stoics believe that every situation offers material for character. Nothing is wasted when it is used to practice wisdom, courage, justice, or self-control. This is especially important in a culture of comparison. Social media shows us the moment of arrival, not the years of uncertainty that came before it. We see the promotion, not the rejected applications. We see the successful business, not the months when nobody cared. We see the transformation, not the hundreds of ordinary days that produced it. Impatience grows when we compare our private process to someone else's public result. Stoic patience brings us back to our own path. It reminds us that another person's timing is not evidence that we are behind. Life is not a race with a single route and a universal finish line. The only meaningful question is whether we are acting well with what is in front of us today. This is where the Stoic focus on control becomes practical. When you feel impatient, separate the situation into two categories. First, what is within your control? Perhaps you can send the application, practice the skill, have the conversation, save the money, improve the plan, or take the next small step. Second, what is outside your control? The response. The timing. The market. Another person's opinion. The final result. The accidents of circumstance. Patience does not mean doing nothing. It means doing everything that belongs to you and refusing to be consumed by what does not. This distinction is freeing because impatience often disguises itself as action. We refresh the inbox repeatedly. We check the numbers every hour. We replay the conversation. We search for one more strategy, one more sign, one more guarantee. But restless activity is not always progress. Sometimes the most disciplined move is to stop interfering. Send the message, then wait. Plant the seed, then water it. Do the work, then let time participate. There is humility in patience. It accepts that reality is larger than our will. It understands that effort matters, but effort is not the only force shaping an outcome. Patience also protects us from bad decisions. Many of life's worst choices are attempts to escape the discomfort of waiting. We accept the wrong opportunity because the right one has not appeared. We return to unhealthy relationships because loneliness feels unbearable. We abandon a meaningful goal because progress is slower than expected. We buy what we cannot afford because saving feels too slow. Impatience says, anything is better than uncertainty. Wisdom says, a wrong answer is not better than no answer yet. The Stoic does not worship delay, but neither does the Stoic panic inside it. To practice patience, begin by changing your relationship with discomfort. The urge to rush is often a desire to escape a feeling, boredom, fear, doubt, insecurity, or lack of control. Instead of reacting immediately, pause and name the feeling. Say to yourself, this is uncertainty. Or, this is frustration. Or, this is the desire for reassurance. Once named, the feeling becomes easier to observe. It is no longer a command. It is a temporary experience. Then return to the present task. What is the next useful action? Not the action that guarantees the future. Not the action that removes all uncertainty. Simply the next action that reflects the person you want to be. Patience is built through these small returns. It is built when you listen without interrupting. When you wait before sending an angry message. When you continue studying before you feel confident. When you repeat a healthy habit before it produces visible change. It is built when you let another person finish becoming who they are without trying to control the process. The modern world rewards speed, but speed without direction can take us farther from ourselves. Stoicism asks for something deeper, deliberate movement. A patient life is not necessarily a slow life. It is a life that refuses to be ruled by urgency. It can move quickly when action is needed and remain still when stillness is wise. It knows the difference between an emergency and an uncomfortable delay. This requires trust, but not blind optimism. Stoic trust is not the belief that everything will happen exactly as we want. It is the belief that whatever happens, we can meet it with character. That is a more durable confidence. You may not receive the outcome you hoped for. The opportunity may not come. The relationship may not heal. The plan may take a different form. Patience does not promise that waiting will be rewarded with the result you imagined. It promises something more important. You do not have to lose yourself while time reveals the answer. You can remain honest while waiting. You can remain disciplined while waiting. You can remain kind, focused, and courageous while waiting. And when the result finally arrives, you may discover that the waiting was not separate from the achievement. It was part of the achievement. The endurance, restraint, humility, and consistency developed along the way were the real preparation. The world will continue to demand speed. It will tell you that slow means irrelevant, that delayed means denied, and that your value depends on how quickly you can produce visible success. Do not believe it. Some things should happen quickly. But the most important parts of life often require time, trust, mastery, healing, wisdom, and character. So the next time you feel behind, pause. Do what is yours to do. Release what is not yours to control. Let time work beside you rather than treating it as your enemy. You do not need everything now. You need the courage to continue, the wisdom to wait, and the discipline to become the kind of person who is ready when the moment finally arrives.